Welcome to the Blogger Genius Podcast, brought to you by Milo Tree. Here's your host, Jillian Leslie.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back and Happy New Year. I'm super invigorated for this year. I'm excited about 2020. I personally weirdly love even-numbered years, so 2020 kind of blows my mind. I'm excited about the new stuff that we are building for Milo Tree. We are rolling out a pop-up that you can link to any content you have. So let's say you have a sponsored post and you want people to see it. You can put an image into the pop-up and link directly to it to direct your visitors to go to it. Or if you sell a product, link to it in your pop-up with an image. Or if you want people to see some of your best content, you want to show it off on your homepage. So that's what that's for. We're also building a pop-up to grow your Facebook groups. And you know I'm excited about this because I'm excited about my Facebook group. If you have not joined it, I welcome you to. It's called the Milo Tree Mastermind Group, and I am loving being part of this. I'm popping in with lives, answering questions. It's a wonderful community. Please head to Facebook, search for the Milo Tree Mastermind Group. It'll be, we'll have a link to it in the show notes, and really join. And I think of it as an extension of the podcast. Now, for today's show, I have my friend Camile Whiting back on the show. This is her second appearance. And Camille has a blog called Fridays We're in Love, where she documents the dates she goes on, I love this, with her husband every Friday night. What we are talking about is how to stay nimble. The world around us, especially as online entrepreneurs, is constantly changing. And I think Camille has a really interesting perspective on that, which is how do you keep kind of, I would say, shifting and being flexible, testing new things. So for example, when an algorithm changes on a social media platform, what do? And how do you think about then directing people to your blog instead of that social media platform? How do you grow your list? How do you think about growing other areas of your business when things are shifting? And Camille and I both have MBAs, so we like numbers, I have to admit, and we approach things from a really analytical perspective. I think that you will get a bunch of interesting ideas from this interview. So without further delay, here is my interview with Camile Whiting. Camille, welcome back to the show for part 2.
Thank you so much for having me.
So we caught up at the Ad Thrive Summit, and it's always so great to see you. And we talked about you coming back on the show because what I love about you is you are a tester. You like to test things in your business. You like analytics. You love Google Analytics.
I do.
So we'll dig into that. But first, for people who don't, I will link, of course, to your first episode, but will you just give people kind of the quick rundown of what you do and what your blog is about?
Yeah, absolutely. I have been on this blog for about 10 years, and I had 2 previous blogs before that. So I feel like this dinosaur that I remember sitting in a college class and this teacher saying, this thing called Blogger got released this week. So I feel like I've always loved blogging and publishing, but I'm somebody that started out as a hobbyist blogger. My husband and I started Friday We're in Love. That's my business. We started this little project to go on a date every week, no matter what. And we thought the best way to keep us accountable to date our whole lives is just to start a blog, just to take a picture, write a synopsis of what we did and put it out there. We did this for a good reason, not just because we're cutesy or overly romantic. We're actually not. He's an engineer and I'm this like analytics project manager. But because we are such calculated people, we figured this would be one formula that would really be the difference in our marriage and our relationship. And I had come from an abusive past. I have a crazy backstory. I'd been previously married, and this was our big goal, to be happy and to prove that you can beat that 50% statistic. You can be on the good side of it, and you can stay happily married.
What is the 50? Oh, you mean of getting divorced?
Divorced,
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were like, we're not only going to stay together, we're going to be happy together our whole lives.
Okay, and it's been how many years now that you've been doing
9
this?
years now.
Okay,
9 years. Well, we've been blogging longer, but we've been married for 9 years.
And how is it? How is it?
I feel like it's fantastic. I was saying this to Jacob. I'm like, I feel like this is the most romantic thing I could say to you. But if we were both coming at life right now, I would choose you all over again. You would still be my top choice. I would still be floored at a guy like you. And, someone asked me once, how have you guys got through all the hard times? And I was like, we haven't had that many hard times. We have. We've been through infertility for years and years and a lot of sad, hard moments with infertility. We're a success story. We have 2 children now. We've been through job loss. We got married during the recession years and a lot of struggles and things. We've been through deaths in families and losses. And I think the dates have really been that secret sauce for us. It's been something that we can look at how sad or hard life is, and then we can talk about it. We made a rule early. We can talk about it for about 30 minutes. And now let's focus on the good and talk about the good things in our life, which is each other and our children. And instead of remembering these bad, hard times, we always remember the fun thing we did that weekend. So it really has been this great formula for us. And obviously, I'm still really passionate about sharing it, that it's evolved into an audience and a business and a regular publication for us.
I think that what I love about that is the intentionality. I think that where marriages go off, not even off the rails, but if you do, they say you have to work at your marriage, but I think it's more like you need to prioritize your marriage.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So that's our whole thing, is making sure there's mental and physical space and time for each other, and that there's more fun memories in our lives than bad memories.
Yes. And again, I think this, which is, if you were to ask my husband, does he give more than I give? He would say yes. And if you asked me, do I give more than he gives? I would say yes. Happily, both of us, happily. So I don't know where the truth lies, but the fact that we are both willing to give more, perceived more, happily, I think is a formula for success. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's all about being selfless, and it's all about, still taking care of yourself, but really thinking about the other person,
right,
and putting their needs first. And that has been the success for us. And it's been the success in dating too. We think of what the other person would love to do, and we should have a lot of good, happy memories together. And I'm sure grateful we started this. We had a wise clergy leader challenge us to do it. That's kind of how we got the idea in the first place. And they were people in their 70s who are still happily in love. They're in their 80s now, but happily in love, acting like 18-year-olds. And I knew I wanted what they had.
Interesting. Okay, one last question about this, and then we'll talk more about business. But okay, do you think that it is the dates like skydiving, or the crazy dates, or is it the dates like just dinner and tacos? Which do you think are the most meaningful?
I think there's value in a combination of all of it. Okay, because we all have different love languages. I believe in that. We all have different things that have different meanings to us. There are times when my husband and I sit folding mountains of small toddler laundry right now. We have 2 boys. There's a lot of laundry in our house. And I think I'm having just as much fun with you folding laundry as I do actually when we've gone skydiving. And so I think there's those moments of the monotony that you choose each other and you get to talk to each other, maybe just going to dinner, or just doing a small, simple, going for a walk, But then those big things are so good too, because they disrupt the norm, and there's a lot of psychology behind having new experiences and more dopamine and feeling more in love. And so I think just that combination of do all the different things, do some splurge dates, do some really cheap free things, do low-key things, go all out. I think they are all equally important. I couldn't choose just one, but I think having that mix and that variety is what keeps things fun and exciting, and keeps your budget in check, and keeps your introverted piece of the couple happy and your extroverted piece of the couple happy. It's just all about the variety.
I like that. I do. I remember this one time where, we have one child, which is great. She's awesome, but we're like her best playmates. So it's sometimes hard for us, David and me, to have that special time. And one time, his parents were babysitting her, and they lived in San Francisco, and, we've been to San Francisco a million times, but mostly with her. And then all of a sudden she was like off with them, and we got to just be in San Francisco, just the 2 of us, for like one night. And it was like the city was sparkling and brand new, and it was like the 2 of us in it wasn't a new city, but it was just us. And I remember feeling that feeling of that carefree feeling before you have kids, where you're totally into this person and like you think they're the most interesting person. And I remember thinking, wow, how interesting. All it took was like 5 minutes of us alone in a city, and all of those feelings came back.
Yeah, it really is amazing. And they do. I think people think they're so far disconnected, and it's amazing how just a few new experiences shared together can really reconnect you and remind you why you chose your partner in the first place.
I love that. All right, let's talk now. Let's switch gears. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to talk to you about, because we started talking about this at the Ad Thrive Summit, was how you think about your business and how you are constantly coming up with things to test. So first off, how do you monetize your blog and your business?
Okay, so I have 4 main things, and I feel like they're pretty standard. Different people have different levels. My main monetization is sponsored posts, because we are more of a lifestyle blog. It makes a lot of sense for us to partner with sponsors and share their products with our stories. So that's my primary one. I am with an ad network, and that's probably my second biggest one. And then affiliate links and product recommendations, and then some product sales. And then I'd also say it's blog related, but I do some service offerings too. I do a little bit of consulting in addition to my typical publications. And then I hope that I'll launch some courses in the near future soon too.
Great. Okay. So now what would you say? Because as we always talk about as bloggers, our businesses are always changing. Like you have to be comfortable with change in order to be an online entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
And so things are always, for us, something that was working last year might not be working this year, but then again, it might work in another year. Who knows? But what would you say is working right now of like those 4 income streams? Where are you like, no, this is definitely where we need to be?
I think being an authentic storyteller is working for me with sponsorships in that piece. I think I have made a big pivot shift in I want more traffic. I love listening to your podcast, because I feel like you always say this, and traffic matters a lot, and it does. I feel like we can never have enough traffic. It's the commodity that we're like,
never have enough traffic.
If every single person in the world wants to be on my site 24/7, fantastic. Like that is the ultimate goal, right? Every single device open to my site. Obviously, I know that's not realistic, but you can never have enough traffic. And so I have made some shifts in thinking about for a while, 2 or 3 years ago, I was really into Let's Grow Instagram, because this is where everybody is, and I'm starting to get some more sponsors there. I still care about Instagram. A year ago, I was getting really upset with Instagram and feeling it was more fake, or seeing some of the shady things, people buying followers, things that you're like, wow, this is such a weird Wild West platform, and people are doing really weird things with it. Where it was really fun the year before.
Right. And it felt like everybody else was making money on Instagram or getting lots of traffic, and somehow we were not necessarily monetizing it as well or getting as much traffic. So I felt a lot of FOMO around it.
And I think they know that they're making some changes even to try to help with mental health on Instagram. So it's been interesting. I still think it's fun. I still love being there. I'm still, online every day, doing stories every day, sharing a post pretty much every day on Friday We're in Love on Instagram. But I had this moment where I kind of shifted and said, you know what, this can shift. My audience can shift, or weird things can happen. People can be inauthentic here, but I am making a good passive income on my site. And so I'm going to start working more on that passive income, growing my ad revenue, growing my affiliate marketing there, in addition to just social and just going wherever's fun, or wherever everyone seems to be. I still think that's important. Like I said, I'm not ditching Instagram anytime soon. I really like Instagram, but I have really stopped to say, what can I do to continue to grow traffic, and what can I do long-term? And if Instagram died tomorrow, would I still have a business? I've had so many friends at one point say, oh, I'm quitting blogging. I'm doing all Instagram. I'm all in on Instagram right now. And every time they said that, it made my heart hurt quite a bit to say, people are getting deleted overnight, or Facebook bought it, right? I don't mean to be negative about it, but the writing's on the wall. They're going to, make it a pay to play, I think, eventually, more and more. They're going to do their best interest. And so it always hurt me a little bit to hear that. So I kind of had this moment of saying, I'm still going to care about that, but I'm going to shift a lot more focus into my blog, what I own, my site, and growing traffic. So I've been working on that. That's been my big hypothesis this last year and a half. And that's where I've seen a lot of success.
And okay, so are you watching traffic growing?
I am actually. I've had some dips. I've had some ebbs and flows like everybody has. But I would say in the last 6 months, especially, I've been able to see some good traffic growth.
Okay, so let's talk about then what are you testing? What are you doing to grow your traffic?
Okay, well, I used to see so much from social. And I think, once again, I'm not one that's like, boo, the algorithm on Instagram ruins lives. I'm one that kind of, I think it can be a good thing, actually. And I appreciate it as a user a lot. But it did have this wake up call for me saying, nothing is constant. You know this. You've been blogging for 15 years. You know things change. What can you do with social changing? What can you own? And for me, this was the year of like getting the email mindset finally. I've been doing email lists for a couple years, but I shifted into really, I want to feel like I own the subscribers, feel like I can contact the people and not have my message limited. So I've worked a ton on growing email, and that has been successful. It's been work and it's been time and it's been a slow churn, but it's fun to see that those numbers continually grow and to see that traffic does come from email and that people are interested when you email them. So
okay, so A, I take it you've been working on growing your list.
Yes.
And B, then providing like the right message to the right person at the right time.
Yeah, I know you've had Matt Mullen on twice, right?
Yeah,
I believe.
Yep.
Matt lives in Phoenix where I live, and I'm really lucky. You know how those tech firms are like, they number all their employees, like I'm employee number 43, and it's the sense of pride, like the lower your number is. I feel like that with Matt a little bit because he's coached so many publishers at this point, but I think I was number 2 or 3. So
oh, wow.
I should clarify with him, but he tested a lot of his theories with me. Unfortunately, I got pregnant and I was really sick with my second child. So I didn't get to do as much. I had to take a step back and work that year while I was, just so sick every single day until I gave birth. From like conception to birth, it was such a hard pregnancy. And so that's when after I had him and I adjusted to mom life of 2, I've been able to come back and say, okay, now let's get really serious about the things I've learned. But I love Matt's theory of really give value, create sequences. And I know he's talked about this on several podcasts, so I won't go into all of it, but I have had a lot of success with his methods and it's been fun to grow and to have this audience that feels like friends and supporters. And they really want to hear, especially with dates, they really want my weekly date. I share a weekly date every week. And for people that are looking for that, it's really fun, I think, to open your inbox and go, oh, there's some good ideas that I could do right now.
And then are you selling stuff to your list?
I'm doing a little bit. I am a firm believer in kind of copying big company strategies. So I have this other background in not just blogging, but, and we've shared this, I know you do too, Jillian, but I have an MBA.
Right, we both do, right? We were going to do, we were going to do an episode on what MBA, how our, like, kind of like get a quick MBA in one podcast episode, right? Like we're going to share our secrets. So if you guys want to hear that, let me know, and Camille and I will do that episode, so you don't have to go spend all that money and spend all that time, but we could just share some quick tips. Like I do this with my daughter where I'll teach her a concept like the 80-20 rule, and I'll turn to her and I'll go, see that right there? What you just learned, that was $10,000. So you better take that to heart and learn it.
I know. I should start adding a dollar amount to every class I took and saying that. So they're no cheap thing. But yeah, so I feel like when I started getting really serious about my blog, when I realized there was traffic and people were starting to make money off of them, I had this advantage of also sitting in this room with some of the top Fortune 500 companies that were doing really cool things on their websites and their social platforms, and hearing them just throwing millions and millions of dollars into trying things and seeing things. And so I think that's where my mindset comes from of let's try new things, let's experiment new things, because I've seen so many companies do it. I've seen them spend $1 million and fail and say, delete that part of the website, I guess, and go, wow. I feel very overwhelmed that much money went to waste, but I get that you have that much money to experiment and try things. But I watched them really boldly go after new things and try new things. And it made me look at my business quite a bit different too and say, okay, what new things can I be trying? What can I be implementing? I'm a lot more conservative. I don't have $1 million to throw at things, but it's really interesting to kind of develop that mindset and move forward with it.
Okay,
I hope
so
I answered your question. Do you feel like I
no.
answered?
Well, no. So, okay, so you're doing email and you're growing your list and you're feeling more connected to your audience and you're sharing these dates with them. And then my hunch is you're directing them back to your website
Yep.
to
So
grow
my
your
main goal with
traffic.
email is to grow traffic, is to get people to come back to my website. So you asked if I was selling things. Sometimes, this is what I was going to say about this. So I watched a lot of those companies give first, right? They give a lot of freebies, they give a lot of information, they help, they serve a lot, and then they try to make the sell. And I feel like I'm getting to that point where I can sell in my sequence. And I do some affiliate posts, I do some other things, but I feel like I'm getting that really core audience that after they've been through, months of my sequence, or they see that there's a lot of value, then you can make the sell. So I'm really like establishing those platforms of just come back to me for traffic, because I do make money off of traffic. I'm lucky enough that that's true for me, and my ad network takes care of us that way, right? But also it will be a tool to do more sales and grow more sales in the future.
Imagine growing your Instagram followers with no work. Highly engaged followers. Now imagine it with Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube. How about new email subscribers? Seriously, no work. This is all possible if you install the Milo Tree pop-up on your blog. David, my husband, and I started our blog, Catch My Party, in 2009. We've since grown it into the largest party ideas site on the web with millions of page views per month. We did it with hard work and our secret weapon, our Milo Tree pop-up, which David built for us. We've grown our Pinterest followers to over 1.3 million and our Instagram followers to over 164,000. And right now, 8,000 other bloggers just like you are using Milo Tree to grow their businesses. With Milo Tree, you can focus on growing one platform or switch between several. But here is the important thing. If you aren't converting your visitors into followers, subscribers, and customers, you're honestly wasting your own traffic. Make this asset, your visitors, work for you. Since we're bloggers, we get bloggers. So we've optimized Milo Tree like crazy. It's a snap to install. It won't slow your site down. It's Google friendly on mobile, and it's so darn cute. You can even add animated sparkles to your pop-up if you like. Sign up now and get your first 30 days for free. Please pause this episode and head to milotree.com to sign up. I know you will thank me. As a bonus, once you sign up, I'm going to send you weekly actionable business tips to help you grow your business. I've been at this a long time and I have a lot to share. Remember, your scarcest resource is not money, it's time. So let Milo Tree free up time for you so you can focus on the other important parts of your business. So what are you waiting for? Hit pause, head to Milo Tree, and sign up today. Then in terms of SEO strategy, because I think of you as an SEO strategist. I think that's how I went to one of your talks at Mom 2.0, I think, and you were totally geeking out in such a good way on Google Analytics.
Yeah, I love analytics, and I love the technical pieces too, which is what I did in my career. I kind of purposely kept things separate. I had a point in my career where I could very clearly choose to be a technical project manager, or I could go into like the content strategy creative side for a corporate blog. And I decided to go tech and to keep my blog, my passion, on the side. So it's been fun for me. They feel like these two separate loves that I equally love. And it's really fun as my business has grown to realize that I really get to do both of them every day.
That's cool. Okay, so what in terms of your SEO strategy have you changed up or have you focused on?
I think using analytics to find what people want from me more than just what I feel like writing about. I think years past, it's been like, this is what I'm passionate about. And I still do some of that, but I think more and more going, oh, wait, yeah, people are looking not just for date ideas, they're looking for marriage advice, or they're looking for infertility information or other things, and kind of building out landing pages and more content around those things that people want. And I think giving the people what they want yields success. You'll see more traffic as you give people what they're actually searching for. especially when it's in your content vertical.
Right, which I would totally agree with. I think back in the day, I remember kind of like, licking my finger, putting it up in the air to go like, what should I write about today? For Catch My Party, like, oh, what am I thinking about? And now we are so much more strategic in what we do. Like we have SEMrush, which is a keyword tool, and we run all of our ideas for new content through SEMrush to see like what are people searching for and what are we ranking for. So we go for us, we go into our Google Analytics and we look at what our most popular posts are. So that is like our first strategy. And then we say, like, we look for where, could we, I think we do really well with baby shower stuff, right? And so it's like, okay, well, we've done baby shower ideas and we've done baby shower printables and we've done baby shower favors. And like, what else could we create around baby showers to help people plan baby showers? And then we're linking all of that content together so that Google goes, oh, this is the place to go for baby shower stuff.
Yeah,
but we are being very intentional about making content. Like I like baby showers, but like my daughter's 12, so it's not natural for me. I'm not planning a baby shower. So it's not like, oh, this is what I want to write about. This is what my audience wants from us. This is where they come for this. So we're going to serve it up in every possible slice that we can.
Absolutely. And I think you can also look in Google Search Console.
Yes.
I love SEMrush. I use it too, but that is another great place for me to go and to see what people are searching. And obviously I don't want to cannibalize keywords I already rank for, things I've written about, but it's amazing how people come and use my search bar and search for things that I'm going, I've written something similar, but not that. And I don't actually rank for that. And lots of people are searching for that.
So wait, so you're looking in terms of in your own site?
Yeah, in my own, at Search Console, what people are searching, and then looking at, what people are either Googling to get there. And then also looking through what people are searching. And I think your email list is also another fantastic way to do that. You'll have people respond. I try to keep my email sequence very conversational, and I ask people to reply to me regularly. It's amazing how people follow up and ask questions, and you're going, well, now tons of you have asked about that, and I've never actually written about that.
Right, so I wouldn't have thought of that.
Super intentional content ideas that I love, and it helps me serve my audience. So I've definitely had that mind shift from this is a personal blog just writing about me. I mean I am. It's a lifestyle blog. I'm still sharing a lot of my life, but really going, how do I better serve people and what they want? So that's definitely where I come from with my SEO strategy of give the people what they want, especially when it's already in your vertical, it's already your expertise. And it's something that would be really easy to add.
And are you feeling your content then shift based on serving your audience?
Yeah, I definitely think it is. I mean, I still do my regular date nights every week. We still publish every Friday what we did specifically, but I am finding more date night lists. I'm finding more specific things people want. I'm finding more marriage content people want. So I'd say it's a slight shift, but I also feel like I'm getting through things you assume you've already shared. It's interesting how you're like, oh no, I guess I haven't gone into great detail about this one little thing I mentioned in a post. And now I can pull that out and I can write a whole tutorial or a whole article or whatever you want to call it on your own site, but you can create content around that one thing. So it's definitely making me think bigger picture, but also more finite at the same time.
Right. Okay. So there's an episode that I just did about YouTube with a guy named Nate Woodbury. And he had this whole strategy where he goes into SEMrush, but you can do this anywhere. And he looks at, if he is, let's say, he has like a finance blog, right? So he's not, and he does it for YouTube, which is of course a search engine, but he's not going to just do like those basic finance videos. He's going to look for the long tail searches, like finance, if how to deal with your finances. I'm making this up. Like if you've just come out of the Navy, something very specific. And then he's going to do a video about that, like how to deal with finances if you've just had your second kid, or like not even kids, but he's going to go after that search query, create content around it, but like all of the pieces all fit in finance or in, let's say, checking accounts or something, so that he slowly, he says it's like a tree, and he's filling in the leaves first. And as he continues to fill in the leaves, it's like now he starts to get authority with that whole tree, like the trunk. But he's not going to just kind of go after like the middle of the tree. He's just going to go leaf by leaf by leaf by leaf. And I thought, wow, that is really smart. And it's not just smart for YouTube, it's totally smart for blogging. And it kind of gave me, like, it was one of those moments where I'm like, ooh, that's a really good way to think about it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'd say my strategy is very, very similar. I think of it a little bit like Wikipedia when you go to find something on Wikipedia, like not just a specific term, but for example, I'm kind of a nerd when we watch TV shows. I like to kind of start Googling all the actors and actresses in it and what they've been in before. And so I either think of it as this, like, I can look under this big umbrella of general concepts of people in this TV show, or I can start searching like each actor, actress one at a time, or I can search like the writer or the plot line, or anyway, I like to think of those little finite pieces instead of just the umbrella. I want to rank for that big umbrella, the TV show I'm searching for all the little details, but very similar. So my analogy is more Wikipedia and my nerdiness in wanting to know all of the information behind productions and plots and actors and actresses.
Right. And again, I go to, I say this all the time and I sound like a broken record, but the riches are in the niches. So it's like, if you can own dating, like married dating, that is a big market in the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I found that success just when I started a blog. Most people were just doing it as a little online journal. And obviously we did too, but totally unintentional. We were doing this very niche thing, right? Where we were sharing just our dates. That's how the blog started. Once a week, I just shared a date. And so it worked for me. And I think that has been, I feel like now everyone says that, right? Get as niche as you can. And for me, that's been totally true. I just got really lucky that that's how we started this whole project.
And what is really nice about your story is that you had a need, which is you knew what it was like to be in a not great relationship. And so you wanted to fix that to guarantee that that was not going to happen again. And that's a very strong motivator. So it wasn't just like, oh, I came up with this really cute idea. It was, no, I want to hold us accountable. And what better way? Like, you were solving your own problem. And in the process, you came up with this really interesting solution. And I always think this, which is, if you're having a problem, chances are there are a fair number of other people who are having that exact same problem. And if you're the person who's publishing the content to solve the problem, people will show up. Yeah,
absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
And again, because you're so authentic about sharing your story, I want to come along for the ride to hear about it, rather than you are like your Glamour magazine telling me what kind of dates I should go on.
I'm definitely not Glamour magazine. And I definitely am married to an engineer with all the engineer stereotypes. And I agree with you. I think it makes us more relatable, but also we're a few more steps into the process. So it's almost like kind of like a bigger sister, older brother, like sharing. I feel like that's our voice, sharing our successes and things we've learned to help other people who are along the path.
And will you share your failures?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I think we share our failures regularly. And I think I wait to share things too. I've been invited to do things before. Like, I got invited to a parenting summit to be a speaker when my oldest was 3 months old. And it would have been great money and it would have been a cool opportunity. But I told them really bluntly, I have a 3-month-old with colic. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. And I wouldn't even know how to answer people's questions at a summit. So I'm flattered, but I'll talk about these things when I'm ready to talk about these things. And so I think often that is my approach as I publish things, that here's a solution, but here's how we came to that solution.
I like that. So with thought.
Yeah.
With insight,
definitely.
With time.
Yes.
Okay. So, so for bloggers in general, where do you think the opportunities are right now?
Okay, I think there are a ton of opportunities in new platforms. I was thinking about this question. I feel like I get asked it a lot. Like, what would you do if you were starting today? Where would you go next? And I think I can attribute all my success to being an early adapter to things. So, hearing, oh, blogger, what is that? Oh, okay, I guess I'll figure this thing out. Or, oh, this Instagram thing or Facebook's new. All these little things, I think, add up to success. So I've been hearing for years and years, like video is where it's at. But for me, one of my big hypotheses and a place I'm seeing some success has been this light bulb of you got to get into video. I think it was when Pinterest started saying, hey, let's talk about video pins. And you can now create different video pins and you can upload directly to Pinterest instead of pin from YouTube and things like that. And it made me go, okay, there's clearly a push right now also on Instagram for IGTV. A lot of people are seeing numbers go down, but they're having a lot of success doing IGTV. And I think people have been talking about YouTube and so many other platforms. YouTube for me is like a supplement to my blog. When I create content for my blog, I'll also upload the videos to YouTube. That's how I've always treated it. And I really grow without trying. Not anything that impressive. I have a very small YouTube following compared to everywhere else, but I'm not doing anything besides putting some videos up and people are still finding me.
And what are your videos? What are you making?
So we do some with dates. We do some with just content anyway. There's some things that it's easier to show than to tell, than to try to describe. We do some travel videos. We have family travel as one of the pillars of our blog. We take our kids to Europe usually at least once a year. And then we go throughout the US too. And so these videos just kind of recapping where we were, what we did, sharing some of the story. Sometimes they're just cutesy, like we took our kids somewhere fun and it's more fun to watch my kid geek out at a park than for me to write about a national park or something, you know. They're just kind of those videos. I wouldn't say there's even a huge YouTube strategy. It hasn't been my main thing that I've gone after. But it's been interesting how I feel like people are just growing in video, right? And for a while I thought it's just those tasty style videos for recipe makers. And I do some recipes, but not a ton. It's not my core thing that I write about. And so this year has really challenged me to say, how do you make it your thing? If you're going to write about dates and family and travel, how do you make the success you're seeing people in other niches have in your niche now? So I have been experimenting with video quite a bit. And another huge aha moment for me this year has been, what are the barriers to entry that you can break down that maybe other people are still having? I know that might sound weird, but I was thinking about Instagram in specific. So phones are getting really good with quality photography, right? And it's such a visual platform that back in the day, the people who were really growing were taking professional DSLR type pictures and putting them up on Instagram, right? So they had this barrier to entry.
Right. They had this competitive, or here, I'll MBA you. You know, they have a competitive advantage.
Absolutely. And so I've been thinking a lot about where, if you don't have a competitive advantage somewhere, how do you create a competitive advantage? That has been my big thing this year in going, if people can duplicate me, then I'm becoming obsolete.
Okay.
So I know that may sound a little bit too drastic, but if people can look exactly what I'm doing on Instagram, for instance, and they can say, oh, well, they went to that place and they took a really cool date night picture. We do a lot of night photography, which I do think is something that sets us apart. It's another barrier to entry, that it's a different skill set to photograph in the day versus the nighttime. But if somebody can start going to the exact places we're going and get the same type of pictures, then it's time for me to rethink things and to innovate and to do new things to get a new competitive advantage. So, and I say all this saying I'm very much a team player. I think there's room for everyone, but I have seen so much success in, first of all, being that early adapter and trying new things, getting on new things, learning it before the masses seem to learn it, but also saying, how do you elevate where you are to the next level? So things like learning video is a skill that not everybody's learning right now, and learning professional, polished, scripted videos almost. I like to be authentic, so I say that all with a little bit of, a little grain of salt, but actually intentional videos of, we're out on a date, let's make sure we create a video so we show what we're doing, not just tell what we're doing. So that has been one thing I've really been testing this year. And this is brand new for me. I'm only a couple weeks into like a weekly IGTV movie and adding more videos to my posts, but it's been really well received so far. And it's been really fun for me. And I always think of, if all of this went down tomorrow, right? If there was no more business of blogging, what skills do I take that would transfer to the next thing? And every time I learn a new skill that helps grow my business, I always think, this is not just beneficial for right now to give you that competitive advantage. This gives you one more thing on your resume.
Ooh, interesting. I like that. Yeah. And again, I think that as bloggers, yeah, it's funny. We're bloggers, but the truth is we're online entrepreneurs. And as such, we wear so many different hats and we have to learn so many different skills.
Yep.
Like my husband is my partner, and literally I'll be like, I don't know how to do this. And his advice to me is literally like once a day, just Google it. Like, just Google it. And so the amount of things I have taught myself by just Googling is crazy. Even, for example, I'll get an error message and I'll be like, what is this? And he's like, just copy it and Google it. And so the fact, I think that as online entrepreneurs, it's like part of our job is that we have to be learning and we have to be nimble and we have to be agile and we have to learn new platforms. Like when I started the podcast, it was like, well, you just put one foot in front of the other and you figure it out and you Google stuff that you don't know how to do.
Yeah.
And so I like that idea of like, you're not just learning for blogging. Like these are life skills. These are things that could translate into who knows what, because we don't know what the future is going to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've been around long enough. When you've been around so many years, you could say that. I've seen people that rose as Facebook stars and made so much time and money and traffic off Facebook and then watched things shift drastically on Facebook. And I could use Facebook every which way. I've seen people say, I give up on Facebook. It's nothing. And then they've gone back and they've made a lot of money off of it. So I just think there's opportunity everywhere you look. But the more you get that competitive advantage and you learn and you're one step ahead of the game, the more success you're going to find.
Yes. And in fact, again, I will say that, for example, for Catch My Party on Pinterest, we've got over a million followers. And yes, we use MiloTree and that has definitely grown our followers, but also we were early on the platform. Now we were not one of those sites that, the Pinterest gods shine down on. And, those people have like 5 million followers. They're like, I don't know how I got all these followers. And it's like, wait a second. But again, we were early on Instagram and early on Pinterest and, early on Facebook. And I'm like, I told my daughter, I'm like, I'm going to be the next TikTok star. Because I just downloaded TikTok just to see what this whole thing was about. She's like, you cannot be on TikTok, Mom. That is not cool. But anyway, just even to see.
Which is a sign to you that you should be there, which is also one of my things, right? I hadn't even heard of TikTok. Our last interview, I think you were the one that told me my daughter's getting into this thing called TikTok.
Oh, did I?
And
okay.
I downloaded it. Yeah, I think you were the one that told me about it. And I downloaded it. And I don't even have much on there. I think I have 2 or 3 videos, but people are finding me there.
Seriously?
So it's another opportunity. I have a friend that experimented with it. I'm not super crafty, but she is. And she has found so much search volume in specific crafting hashtags. And so even though she's this, middle-aged woman, she's like, well, I am going to go ahead and try it, even though there's a younger audience. And she is finding traffic and she's finding an audience. It's not huge. I think people want overnight successes.
Right.
And I think if you look at every person that is successful, they just got into these things early and they learned and they grew and they tried. And I mean, as I share all this, I'm not the biggest on anything by any stretch of the imagination, but do I have a business that supports my family? I do. And it's because I've got into these things and I've tried and I've been consistent.
And there are times, by the way, like Snapchat, it was initially before Instagram copied Snapchat. It was like everybody needs to get over to Snapchat. And you better believe that I was on Snapchat. And then guess what? It didn't really work. Or Google Plus. Remember Google Plus?
Oh, yeah.
So it's not, or Vine. It's not like every platform's going to pay off. So don't be disappointed when something goes away. But I agree with you, which is go down, like if you have not downloaded TikTok, definitely do and see what the kids are all doing. And,
and carve out 2 hours of like waste. I wouldn't even say waste. It's fun waste.
You get sucked in.
I am such a productive person. And I was just like, I feel like I think I'm younger than I am. But when I go on there, I'm like, these kids, man, they're quite a bit younger than me. But I'm like, they are so clever.
They are so clever.
So fun. Like I can totally see why everybody's here. And have people figured out exactly how to monetize it yet? There's some of it happening, but right. You know what? Same with Instagram, with everything I've been with blogging. I blogged for years just because it was fun.
Right.
And then opportunities came eventually. And so I like to think my everything that way. Like TikTok is probably going to be the exact same way.
So if there are people out there, bloggers who are using TikTok and figuring out a way, please reach out to me because I would love to talk to you and have you on the podcast.
And I want to hear that podcast. I'm sure it'll be so interesting and so enlightening.
Yes. And again, because I would say that I read this thing that TikTok doesn't have, it's kind of goofy and kind of weird and funny and stuff. And so it has a much different vibe, say, than Instagram, which can make you feel not always great. Whereas TikTok seems more fun, even though, again, it's owned by some Chinese company and who knows how they're spying.
And it's very strange. Like, there's all these strange things. But I think that about Instagram, too. It felt like the Wild West at first. And the people that really put the time into it, they grew. And now they're really reaping the benefits of getting in early, putting time into the platform. So that's one of my biggest pieces of advice to anyone is there's opportunities everywhere you look, but where you put your time is where you're going to see success. And there's value in everything, but it's just choosing where do you think the most value will be, or trying, let's try some time here. Let's do some things here and just experiment and see. And then make choices off what makes the most money or what has the most long-term opportunity. Right.
So, and definitely be where your audience is, and then just experiment with other platforms to see, oh, is there an audience here?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like for you with your email list to go, oh, these people are really engaged here.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
All right. So Camille, how can people reach out to you, see what you're doing, see your dates, see your videos, all of that?
Okay, well, I put the most time and effort into my website because I own it. So FridayWe'reInLove.com will always be the place. And I feel like I've put a lot of time into the search, indexing, and categorizing dates so you can find exactly what you're looking for, budget, time of year, all the things. Definitely sign up for my email list, not just because obviously I care about that right now, but I really do think I'm offering so much value right now, giving people weekly date ideas and helping them a lot. Instagram is a place I'm at. I'm at Friday We're in Love there. Facebook, I'm actually spending more and more time in. I had written it off years ago, and now I've had some enlightening moments of realizing a lot of traffic comes from Facebook. So I'm putting more time into Friday We're in Love on Facebook. Those are probably the main places. And then I'm also Camile Whiting on Twitter.
All right, Camille, you're going to come back for part 3.
Well, thanks. I'm flattered that you think I'm, worthy of this, because
absolutely,
you really run such an amazing podcast, and I'm so flattered that you would let me come on it, not once but twice.
Oh no, I love it. Well, first of all, thank you for that. And no, I feel like we kind of see the world in a very similar way.
Yeah, I agree.
I hope you guys like that episode. My biggest takeaway is that as an entrepreneur, we are rewarded for taking risks, for jumping on different platforms, for showing our face, for doing the things that other people are scared to do. And I do think that as an entrepreneur, my job forces me to be in a lot of discomfort. And I think that's good for my business. And I also think it's good for my own personal growth. So let me know what you think about that. Email me, Jillian@milotree.com. Also, if you have not yet tried MiloTree on your blog to grow your social media followers, your email list, and now to direct people to blog posts or sales pages or products or your most important content, definitely head to milotree.com and give it a try. You get your first 30 days free. And I'm just really excited about all of the stuff that we are building. Please meet me in my I'm sending you to so many different places, but please meet me in my Facebook group, the MiloTree Mastermind Group, and I will see you here again next week.